Hi, I'm Robin Waite, author of Online Business Startup, which is a best-selling book on Amazon. And in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of using Google Analytics with your website. So I talk a lot about with my clients the SMART objectives. So this is objectives for your business or for your website or anything which you do in life, which is so the SMART objectives are specific, measurable, actionable, realistic and time-bound. So in regards to Google Analytics, the important one is M for measurable. So there's no point in having a website out there if we're not actually learning about whether that website is working for us. You could have 10,000 visitors coming to your website, but A, if you don't know that 10,000 visitors are coming to your website, and B, what those visitors are doing when they get to your website, there is absolutely no point in having a website at all. It's just of no use to your business. So I would thoroughly encourage you, whether it's Google Analytics or any other stats tool, to have a tool on there which is grabbing those stats for you so you can learn about your audience and how better to engage them. One of the first benefits of installing Google Analytics on your website is actually its influence that it has on how your website gets indexed. So if you're using analytics, Google automatically knows that you've added a page to your website. So and how it does this is when that page goes live, you go and look at it. It triggers Google Analytics to load, and then it says, oh well, this is a new page. I need to add it into my index, unless you've switched it off using the robots TXT file. What this means is, so Google also has an automatic submission tool, so you have to manually, a manual submission tool, so you have to go and submit your web pages manually. This just takes takes out that extra step. So long as you're using Google Analytics, Google knows whenever you add a new web page to your website, and it'll index it within, I've seen it happen within a matter of hours, 24 hours even. The second tip which I've got is about understanding your visitors. So the key thing about the visitors to your website is looking at it used to be called unique visitors, but it's now sessions. They introduced that within the last sort of 12 months. People used to talk about hits. Now hits could mean that you could load up a single web page, but there could be a hit for every image that loads on that page, and for the JavaScript and for the style sheets and things like that. So one web page could generate 50 hits. So that's why we're really interested in unique visitors or sessions to the website, because these are individual unique people who are visiting your website. And this means that you can average that data out over a period of time and see how many individual people are coming to your website and interacting with it over a minute by minute if you want to get real-time information, but probably most people look at their stats on a daily, weekly or monthly basis. And this just allows you to give benchmarks, and what those benchmarks allow you to do is that if all of a sudden you see a dip in your website traffic, you can react to it. So if, for example, you've uploaded a page of content which violates Google's terms and conditions, for example, so they're no longer listing your page in its search engine, you can react to it, delist that page, go and tell Google about it, and hopefully get that traffic back up. Because don't forget, nowadays, most people, to validate a business, they'll go and have a look at their website. If your website's not being indexed in Google, they're not going to be able to find you. Equally, if most of your website traffic is driven through organic search engine results, and your website disappears off the planet, you're going to lose that business. Your business could go under. So keeping an eye on how your website is performing, if you start to see it tail off, you can react and hopefully build that traffic back up to where it was before. The third thing I want to talk about is what are page views and what constitutes the bounce rate. So this is a really common, I do a lot of workshops in this, and it's the most common question: what's a bounce rate? So a bounce is basically when somebody lands on your homepage and they leave without engaging with the site or basically doing anything. So they don't scroll down, they don't click on a link, they don't watch a video, they don't do anything. And by default, that period of time is 30 minutes. So if somebody lands on your site and doesn't do anything with it for 30 minutes, then that's considered to be a bounce. You can manipulate that. I think you can tell Google to reduce the bounce rate on your website if you want to. But typically, if they haven't done anything in the first sort of, 10, 20, 30 seconds, they're probably unlikely to do anything with your website anyway. So Google displays this bounce rate metric through analytics. The next thing I want to talk about is goal conversions and funnels. So goal conversion, I talked about in a previous video about the 3 things that happen within 7 seconds. So the message you've got to get across is who we are, what you do, and where do you want your customers to go to next. So that where to next is what we call a goal conversion. Ultimately, we want somebody to land on your website and either pick up the phone or submit a contact form or buy a product from you. So you can tell Google Analytics what that goal conversion is. So let's call it a contact form submission. The funnel is how they reach that point. So we create a funnel. A simple funnel might be land on the home page, they go to the contact page, and then they hit submit. So there's 3 steps in that funnel. And the reason why funnels are important is it might be that let's say you have 1,000 visitors to the website, 100 of them hit the contact button, but none of them are completing the goal. Well, okay, now what we can do is see where customers are dropping out of that funnel. Maybe we've got too many form fields in the contact form. Maybe the contact form's just broken. So this gives us an opportunity, if we see that customers are dropping out at particular points in that funnel that you've created for them, you can react, tell your web developer to go in there and fix it. One thing which changed quite dramatically probably about 2 or 3 years ago with Google Analytics, and another question which I started to get asked quite often was you can have a look at the keywords which people have put into Google and view those through analytics to see what keywords people have searched on in order to land on your website. And there's this one specific keyword that people started to realise was just gaining in popularity for every single website, and it was something called not provided. So I kid you not, at the top of the list of keywords on everybody's Google Analytics started to become not provided, and now it accounts for about 90% of keywords which people search on. So now people aren't actually searching for the keywords not provided and ending up on your website. The reason why it's happening is because most searches now on Google are, if you look on the URL, you'll see a little padlock icon, and it will say HTTPS instead of http:/google.com. So those searches people are doing being pushed through a secure socket layer, HTTPS, so through a secure layer. And what Google does is it just obfuscates them, so you can't actually see what those keywords are. So it does that for privacy reasons to protect the person who's browsing the web. So now you're getting loads of really useless information about keywords through Google Analytics, which is really frustrating. So the workaround for it, there is a workaround, it's pretty straightforward. You can install something called Google Webmaster Tools onto your website. And if you've got Google Webmaster Tools installed on your website, you can actually see what searches are being carried out and resulting in your web page being delivered in the search results before people get to your website through Google Webmaster Tools. So you've actually got access to that list of keywords through another Google tool. It's just really frustrating that you can't see it through Google Analytics. So that's the Google not provided workaround, which there's more information about it on my website, or if you Google for it, I'm sure you'll be able to find a plethora of different tips about how to work around it. So just to summarise those key points, the reasons why Google Analytics is really important. So firstly, I talked about the SMART objectives. Google Analytics allows you to measure the performance of your website and how people are interacting with your website. It has an immediate impact on how quickly you can get pages indexed in Google's search engine. We can see how many unique visitors are coming to our website and measure that on a regular basis. We can have a look at bounce rates and see whether people are landing on the page and how well they're interacting on it and how many pages they're actually viewing. And finally, we look at goal conversions and creating funnels to track people right the way through to a call to action which we've created for them, and at what point they're dropping out of that process. So I hope you found the video really helpful, and thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you want to watch more videos, then please hit the subscribe button. And if you've got any questions about this specific video, then please leave them in the comments box below. I'd be more than happy to answer them.